That's right, y'all. Y'all hear the music? Y'all know what time it is. The specialist and the job instructor are in the water. And we don't demonstrate, bitch, we penetrate. As we bring another diving deeper dive on unlimited episodes for you, we gonna get straight into it. As we always do, you feel me, and you dig what I say. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Word to
Yeah,
big word.
buddy. What's going on today, partner?
Yeah. We got another live one for you. Another live one for you. We're gonna dig into some things, right? Talking about some topics of common and modern concern and interest.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, rumors, lies. Whose problem is it? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
they were talking about them rumors and lies. Cause whether you want to or not, that's gonna happen to you at some point or another. And a sister and a brother. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh,
It
for sure.
happens, bruh.
For sure.
It happens. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, the thing is that your problem or is that their problem? You feel me? But my thing is, if it's all rumors and lies that are about you and none of it's true, my opinion, that's more so their problem than yours. That's just my
Let's get
thoughts
into
on
it.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
Yeah,
get into it.
man.
Might be a little bit of both at times, right?
Depending on who it is that's spreading it, it could be a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
It depends on who it is. I mean, like if it's somebody of relevance, importance, a gatekeeper of sorts, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who could say something that could definitely hold you back from achieving some type of success, some type of status, heck, even some type of monetary gain. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who would have some type of power that could hold you back from something that you're trying to achieve. I mean, yeah, that could be a problem for you,
Right.
but I mean, the majority of the time when we talking about rumors and lies, it's probably somebody who is probably on the same level as you, or more than likely somebody who is beneath you. And when I say beneath you, I'm talking about somebody maturity wise, somebody who has a whole lot of insecurities, somebody who is mad at you or jealous of you for reasons that you have no idea about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And they too much of a punk ass bitch to even tell you about it to your face, but they can tell somebody else about you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
man. I think that's just some clown shit. You feel me? Some real
indeed.
clown shit.
Yeah, that is some clown stuff. I mean, look, say it to their face. Talk to them. Bring it out. Talk it out. Hash it out. Put it to bed.
That part. That part. Because a whole lot of things could be settled. A whole lot of energy could be resolved. A whole lot of issues could be squashed or not even visited had you just went up to this person and said, you know what, something is bothering me here, and this is what's bothering me, or again, like a lot of stuff be over some nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Over something that
Yeah.
probably ain't even true. Like, well, I heard you say, well, what did you hear? And well, so and so. Well, you know what? Bring so and so over us into this conversation as well too, so we can all get to the bottom of this. Because one of my main issues, well, one of my main mottos is, if it ain't from the if it ain't said from the source, it ain't said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if somebody says, well, so and so said, well, if you telling me what so and so said, then it ain't been said. Unless so and so tells me themselves, then that's when I'll address it. But other than that, what you telling me is just a bunch of hot air coming from your breath, bruh.
Yeah.
It has no relevancy to me. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is too, people will say, well, if you was comfortable saying it to them, or if they was comfortable saying it to you around about me, then you was cool with them about it. Then what that say about you? I'm gonna just put that to bed too, dude, because a lot of times you might not even know the situation in which the circumstances or whatever it was said about me or whoever for so and so to be comfortable to say it to you. A lot of times it might have been said that they didn't even know that you was around for them to say whatever was said. So
Facts.
sometimes you gotta assess the whole situation before you get all up in your feelings about something that was said about you. On top of that, whatever might have been said about you might not have been what exactly was said about you, because again, by the time whatever was said originally, by the time it got to you, might have been screwed, chopped, flipped,
Like
bounced, sliced,
like
diced,
the telephone game.
basically. So that's why I said, if it ain't said from the source, it ain't said. You be then got you're all up in your feelings about something that was twisted, construed, and misconfigured all the way around. And that's why I'm like, dude, rumors and lies, man. I wouldn't even stress it, and because again, that's their problem.
You know,
Especially if it's on the level of you or somebody on your level. Go ahead, Drew.
no, you good. I was just gonna say, a lot of times I think things get misconstrued when somebody is just venting
Mm-hmm.
and they choose the wrong person to vent to, not knowing so. And just them in that moment of expressing themselves, just to hear their thoughts bounce off of somebody who knows the individual as well as they do, if not better. And oftentimes it could be squashed with, nah, man, he wouldn't do that. I can't see that. Now, I mean, you should talk to him because that's y'all's business if there is anything going on between you. But I don't see it as a possibility or likelihood that that person is whoop de whoop whoop de wop. You know what I'm saying? And it could end there. But to go back, yo, I was talking to so and so the other day, and he was telling me this about you. He wasn't really telling you nothing about it. He was telling you he perceived a situation or a conversation to be a certain way and wanted your feedback, anonymously. But you took a stake in the game and stirred the pot. Now you got mess. You know what I'm saying?
Right on. Right
You
on.
know, and it should always be, oh, I think y'all should talk. I'm gonna stay out of that. You know what I mean? But here's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And if I hear my opinion back, then I know what you're doing is not on the up and up. You trying to sow seeds, you know what I mean? And it should never be about that. Of course, unfortunately, that's how some people move, you know, or they haven't
Yeah,
matured. It
buddy.
could be just a lack of maturity, uh, them not knowing how to confront their thoughts, uh, with the person who they may have the thoughts about or towards. So I
I
agree with
mean,
you.
it could be worse though. I mean, it could be like you said, they could be venting their frustration out to you, and
Mhm.
you being of sound mind saying, well, you know what, if you feel that strongly about it, maybe it's something that y'all should speak on. Like, I'm gonna stay out of it. I think y'all should just hash it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I think y'all could come to a resolution about it. And that person might take your advice, but instead of going the exact route that you gave them, they'll say,
Mhm.
yeah, I was talking to so and so about the situation, and they was like, man, F that, man. They was going wild on saying, making lies up about you now, saying that you didn't say some wild stuff about this person, and then try to twist the whole narrative
Right.
around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a whole lot of ways that this could go sideways about, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro. I mean, it's just that. But in that same sense, that will right there let you know that, you know what, I need to leave this person alone, or I need to just fall back from this person right now because the way this person moves is not how I like to move at all. And I need to distance myself from this person because
Yeah.
this person is toxic. And then the person that y'all was having the conversation, or that they were talking about in the initial conversation, if they have sound mind and body, they'll be like, bruh, I already know the person that you telling me about don't even move like that. So I'm just
Right.
gonna be like, all right, man, you know what? Bet you right, bruh. And then me and the other person may have a conversation, and we might sit back and have a good laugh about it. Be like, you know what? It's time to just fall back from that person all the way around and just keep it moving. You can elevate and leave that person alone.
Uh-oh. I don't know if your signal froze, C Dub.
Just be what?
I think your signal had froze for a minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Yeah, man. We used to have a saying, what, loose lips sink ships.
it's trip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
buddy.
know, and it's one thing like if a conversation comes up, a person just doesn't happen to be in the room, but that person should always have the opportunity amongst the crew, the group, whatever, the family, to be able to hear what's being said or supposed about them to address it. It's not about
Indeed.
beef. It's not about a setup. It's like, yo, man, you know what? That's interesting what you're saying. I might could see your point, and I might have had seemingly a similar experience. I don't think that person has ill motives. I think y'all should talk. Nonetheless, we're gonna put the ball back into, hey, y'all have something y'all need to discuss, whether the other person realizes it or not, and it's up to you to bring it up to them. Like,
Right.
have you reached out? Have you tried to talk to them? What happened? All right, cool. I'm not going to get in the middle of it, but if you need me to arrange for y'all to talk where I can disappear and not even be a fly on the wall, but everyone knows it's a up and up meeting. It ain't me trying to set one person up for a conversation they ain't ready to have. You know, there's a lot of little nuanced
Yeah, cause
portions in
ain't
that
nothing worse
situation.
than the ambush, bro. Ooh, yeah,
Oh
I feel
no,
you.
yeah. Now these people these days, I don't want to say these people, but people these days often call that an intervention. you know. And you got people with weird ways of doing it, like my man, Mr. Bilal. That book, he said that's an intervention for Will, right? But come on, man. Like, if
Nah,
y'all don't have that
bro.
relationship no more, how are you going to intervene? You know what I mean? That's not going to be taken that way at all. But that's in hindsight. Can't say what his
Yeah,
intentions were or are, or how he views the situation. But you know, rumors, man, rumors, famous people. Let's kind of touch on that a little bit. Like, recently, Cat Williams had a very, some people call, scathing interview. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as him expressing some things that's been on his mind for a while, and he's let, what's the word I'm looking for? he's let little leaks out of his tank, you know what I mean, that's been building up here and there. He's left some questions, he left some things standing as was, figure it out. He finally came out on Club Shay Shay and, you know,
Let the
put some,
chopper sing.
yeah, he put some perspective to it. He put some funk on it. But when I assessed the way that he chose his words, I don't think it was scathing. I don't even think it was what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think there was any malice. I think there was some intent, of course, but I don't see it as some have interpreted it. Um, and then tying that into Dave Chappelle's footage that was, leaked, because we know when Dave Chappelle takes the stage these days, he doesn't allow cell phones to be, going in record mode or photo mode while he's on stage. But there was some candid moments there with him and with D Ray having a discussion, and there might have been some alcohol involved, right? And I'm a big fan of all three names mentioned: Cat Williams, D Ray Davis, and Dave Chappelle. Not necessarily in that order, but they're three of my favorite comedians, and I don't really think that there was a need for controversy. Dave spoke his piece. I was trying to gather some full rationale surrounding what Dave's words were, because when I watched that interview, I paid attention to the fact that Cat dropped Gary Owens' name, and not in a negative light, but just in a light of when you look at certain career examples of someone who had the talent and still has the ability to move a crowd and several crowds and do well for themselves, why they didn't cross over into like the some people call the big money uh, section of entertainment. And I thought it was interesting because I felt like it was balanced. I mean, he talked about certain people stealing jokes from him and other comedians. Um, I mean, people wanted to focus on the things like he says he read 3,000 books, in his childhood. Like, is it likely? I don't know. Is it possible in the realm of infinite possibilities called a universe or a multiverse? Absolutely, it's possible. Is it likely? I don't know Cat Williams personally. You know what I'm saying? But I think
Or
the focus was shifted to things like that weren't carefully assessed, and I feel like there was a lot of I think there was a lot of feelings. And Dave has a right to feel what he feels, and Cat has a right to feel what he feels, and D-Ray is a right to interpret those feelings based on how he feels if he so chooses to assess it that way. I just thought it was like, yo, put the rumors to rest. This is what I know. But I will say this. Cat talked about getting information from people that he paid to divulge certain information. It's not that he sent them out or hired them to gather it based on his word choice, right? But it was interesting to me how Dave's stance was expressed about telling on each other. Well, if you're not a part of that circle, you're not really telling on your, conglomerate. You're not telling on your homeboy. You're expressing some things that you witnessed, saw, or heard about individuals who may be viewed as gatekeepers. Am I making any sense? Like, stop me if I'm not. I'm not saying that
not,
about Dave, not insinuating it either. I'm just saying it sounded like if somebody wanted to take a rumor and create a rumor, there's going to be a whole lot more content, possibly. You know what I mean? That's
yeah, I
clickbait
feel what
and
you're
based on
saying.
hearsay.
I mean, everything that you're saying, there's no lie in it, but who you just explained or just described are entertainers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's a lot of truth to what was said in everything that was explained both in both videos, and there could have been a little bit of fiction sprinkled in some of that too, just not sprinkled in one area, but probably sprinkled throughout. I mean, I'm talking when I say fiction, just a tiny bit of fiction, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the same time, again, these brothers are entertainers, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of think that the video put up with Dave, as far as Dave and D Ray is concerned, I think that was put up mainly for clickbait. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
if you look
Yeah.
at it, I mean, first off, he's at the improv. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anybody who knows real comedians and what they do, when they go to little comedy spots like that, just on some kick it, whatever, and you got a bunch of them together like that, basically what they're doing is they're testing out their jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They're basically testing out to see how they do and where they can fix them and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that again, none of what he's saying wasn't true or whatever, or how he felt. But again, the brother was, everybody was kicking it, having a good time, drinking, blase this, blase that. But also taking a piece from Kevin Hart's autobiography, because he was speaking on how he came up in the game when he came up in Philly, and when he used to take trips back and forth to New York, he would say after, like, they would go and do exactly what Dave was doing at like the improv and Caroline's and stuff like that. There would be they would go to some spot and eat. And they said it would be a whole bunch of comedians
Right.
sitting at this one big table,
Yep.
and they would be over and clowning and stuff. And he said what Dave and D Ray was doing is exactly what Kevin Hart was saying, talking about what happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have
Yeah.
like this big table and they would be talking. Sometimes it would be some arguments. Sometimes they would get real loud and stuff. He was saying, but that's how they were. You know what I'm saying? But now, as far as like what you were saying, like the rumors and all that stuff, I mean, like when you say Gary Owens, to me, Gary Owens has been a nigga ever since Comic View. If you ask me, shit, I don't give a
I
fuck what
mean,
nobody
for
say.
sure. For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's what Cat's point was. It's like you could try to separate the black and the white comedians, but there's white and black comedians that run together, and then there's the ones that don't fuck with each other
Right
under any
on.
circumstances. And I'm not saying that it's racial because most of them, I think, because of their line of jokes, even the ones that use that type of humor, put it that way, they have an understanding amongst one another that race is a joke in and of itself. There is no such thing of all these races. You
Right,
know what I'm saying? I think they know that, and that's how
right.
they play that subject up when they joke on stage, when they write their jokes, when they interact with each other with the banter. So I no one gets mad and swings and throws drinks and all that shit anymore. That shit doesn't happen. But my bad. Oh, one thing I wanted to say before it slips my mind. I think that Kat was telling the truth. I don't want to say Kevin was completely lying, but I think I mean, Kevin was giving the storyline and narrative that the studios gave him. And I think that Kat was trying to show that there are people who are chosen because of their willingness to do almost anything. And that's no slap on Kevin. Like, I mean, we saw Flip Wilson. Some of us, I'm a couple of years older than you, I think maybe. But I grew up being raised by the generation of Flip Wilson.
You talking about Geraldine?
Geraldine, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Devil made me do it. There's
yeah.
a lot of things that Flip touched on that people would have thought was contradictory to his interview persona versus his stand-up and skit persona, right? And I
Right,
think in that
right.
day and age, that no one took it to heart. I mean, we talking about an age where Sammy Davis Jr. 1 year literally married a bride of Satan and joined the Satanist church. Following year, he declares himself a black Jew and walking around with a Mogan Dawu around his neck in every interview and performance. I mean, we talking about the land of smoke and mirrors, even if that's not where
Word.
each of these members are from, or these men are from. So, I look at the Ohio guys, Dave, Cat, and they both spoke highly of one another in their statements, and both um, made sure that they expressed a sincere respect and almost a camaraderie or friendship. I don't want to speak on that because I don't know either of them personally to say that they are not friends, but they've both always been friendly towards each other and never made railing accusations or disgusting comments about the other. So I know Kat was one of the people that actually explained what that whole Comedy Central situation really was about.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Dave never expressed this, but maybe he might have felt a little some type of way because Kat was speaking on it, but no one else really was saying or reading between the lines like, "Oh, he crazy. He left $50 million on the table." But that's only because if he took it, he would never be entitled to the other 200 million that was supposed to go with that.
Right.
Now he's getting it back through Netflix. And interesting fact, I guess the day the internet blew up because of Cat's interview was Dave was releasing his new special on Netflix. Can we verify
Mm-hmm.
that? I'm not sure. Yeah. And I don't
Yeah.
think that Cat was thinking along those lines. You know what I'm saying? So I think part of it was Dave saying, "Come on, man, like we're supposed to be better than that in the fact that we don't take away from each other's shine so that we don't have to have those constant conversations like the one you had with Shannon." So I see where
Yeah.
Dave is coming from. I just feel like he fumbled a little bit in the word choice and the scenario build up of his explanation or point. And I think that's why D Ray was a good voice of dissent. He wasn't overbearing. He wasn't going to try to, bully the OG, but he like, come on, Dave, like, I respect what you're saying too, but I don't think it was really like that. I think this was good for comedy. And I'm not a comedian, so forgive me, y'all that I'm fans of. I thought it was great for comedy, and I thought that it was an open door for people who might have not been in the limelight for a good while to show their face again and reintroduce themselves, and maybe even if you're so bold enough, issue a challenge to the king, as he referred to himself. What you think? Anything on
I
that?
mean, this is my take on it. I honestly didn't know that Dave was releasing a Netflix special that day,
Didn't either.
but in the same sense, I don't know how the Netflix algorithms work as far as like the views and how that goes for the ratings and all that. But yet and still, it's Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah,
gonna get the bag. He's gonna get the bag. You know what I'm saying?
regardless. Yeah,
And um, with the way the world is right now, as far as all the fucked up shit that's going on, uh, with even though it was claimed to have been provocative and salacious or whatever, which yeah, I don't think it was because I finally did
I don't think
watch
so.
it. I finally did see both interviews, and I don't see where any of it was. I mean, he didn't raise his voice any. He didn't get all like his tone. His like I said, the tone of his voice never changed. He didn't get all like preachy, hooting, hollering up in nobody's face. I mean, he spoke very eloquently. If you really want to be honest with it, like watching both of those interviews, in my opinion, made me want to like go up and chop it up with the brother to see, even to see what all other
Same
information he had, because that
here.
wasn't even my whole thing. It was like, yo, this brother on some real deep shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this he interesting, like he intriguing. I'm gonna go chop it up with him and like just like get to know him better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he
Yeah,
like, yeah, he didn't been through some shit, but I want
indeed.
to like see what's up, like what's his
You forgive the technical difficulty. We just had a little
yeah,
freeze
no
in.
doubt, no doubt. But it's like after watching these in the climate of the world today with all the violence, wars, and all this stuff, and all the stuff that's going on, it's just like, dude, this might be needed right now. You know what I'm saying? Even though, like I said, it's provocative or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm not going to say that it's distracting us from what's really going on, because let's just be real. What's really going on was mentioned in the Cat Williams interview. So he's still keeping us aware of what's going on.
Right.
But it's still needed because it's like, yo, it's finally some truth being told, because I think some of the people that were mentioned have been on some high and mighty and put up
Yeah.
on a pedestal that can, or I can't do any wrong. Nah, brother, you human like the rest of us, and your flaws will
Right.
be shown. And now that that target is on you, what you gonna do about that now? Ain't
Speaking
no
of which,
pivoting from it.
speaking of
You know
which,
what I'm
some
saying?
people felt it was scathing because Cat called Steve Harvey Mr. Potato Head, and he referred to Cedric as looking like a walrus.
He's a
Do you,
comedian, bruh.
I agree, but I don't agree that necessarily with his comments. Uh, Name calling to me, it just depends on the situation. If you roasting, it's funny as hell. Um, they weren't in the room to fire back, so I don't feel that makes him cowardly because he's a comedian. However, do you think that he crossed a line to which would open the door for the criticism that he's been receiving on some fronts? I mean, most people are riding with the wave, like, yo, that was awesome that he could speak his truth that way. They got to see Club Shay Shay as the phenomenal platform that it is. Like, I don't know who's behind it. It could be the powers that be. I don't want to say I don't really care, but I like Shannon Sharp as a human being from what I can see. Does he have his own arrogance? He played professional football. He better damn well. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And he was
Man,
damn good at it. You know what I'm saying? But he's moved into a different lane, and I think that he fits that lane very well. And I think that just highlighted that even more so. That double appreciation is what I think most people were experiencing. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut into.
no, you good. I mean, listen, for him to call Steve Harvey Mr. Potato Head and Cedric the Entertainer a walrus. Now, if anybody who is anybody that heard any of Cat Williams' comedy, for him to use those names
Very mild.
to call that's childlike. And
That's
I
great.
mean, and I'm sure it's not the first time that either of them have been called that in public or on camera.
Facts.
I mean, seriously, bruh, you telling me, and with that, I'm not trying to even like just be disparaging towards brothers, but
Yeah,
you telling me that that wasn't spot on to call Steve Harvey that shit, son?
I'm not at all. That's why I was just saying some people.
Where's the lie? So I mean, I'm just saying, dude. I mean, I'm again, the brother was spot on with it. I mean, no truths were being spoken.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell the
I mean,
truth to shame the devil.
I mean, and that's the statement. I was really shocked, Dave. And I'm not going to take this religious, y'all, even though this is deeper dives dialogue. I could, but Dave is a devout Muslim upon his own confession. I, in 2014, I'll tell you a little something about myself. I'll get just a tad personal and then bounce back to the topic at hand. 2014, Joe Louis Arena, Detroit, Michigan. I went and saw Louis Farrakhan speak live and in person for the very first time for Savior's Day. Guess who I walked past 5 times? One of my favorite comedians in the world. I didn't want to be a fan. And he was not guarded. Okay. This dude is what you see is what you get with Dave Chappelle. Tremendous amount of respect for him. For my own reasons, don't care what no one thinks. I spoke to him. I kept it moving. I don't think he could pull me out of a lineup. And that's fine with me. But it was just great to be in the presence. Walk right past Professor Griff. There's other people that we would consider famous or have been in entertainment for years, icons, our personal idols or mentors that we would look up to in theory and in mindset. You know, people we've read about or watched for years that we want to take certain things from their public persona or their personal development that they've shared. But you know, what you see is what you get. This is a devout Muslim. I've seen him. Cat Williams expressed that he used to belong to that organization. He didn't keep that a secret. He brought that out in the Shay Shay interview, probably mentioned it in past interviews that I just never read or heard.
Right.
But these are two men who have spiritual beliefs. They're not like a whole lot of other people. Let's put it that way. Steve Harvey has expressed Christian views. Ricky Smiley, I mean, his biggest fan base was church people, people in the church, excuse me. That doesn't mean that Muslims don't rock with Ricky Smiley. It don't mean that Jews don't find Ricky Smiley hee haw, knee slapping hilarious, right? But Cat is the only one that said, I'm on the team that's with God. And this, he said, he kept saying there's 7 individuals. There's 7 individuals. He wasn't calling out half the industry. You understand?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was very specific that he had information about 7 men who had 7 whatever wives. I'm not going to go into that. I don't think it's fair to drag the women into it when they haven't voiced anything.
Go back
However,
and watch the interview.
yeah, go back and watch that interview. 7 people, and he said, and we're on God's side, and we don't care about the other side at all. We don't care about their livelihood because they don't care about theirs. I'm gonna just highlight and paraphrase because I don't have the direct quotes memorized. I can do that. I do have good recall like that. But Kat said, every script that came across my desk for 5 years, I said, could we tweak this? Could we change that? I don't want to be seen in that light, not just as an individual, but I think my people deserve better. We're past that point in our development in the public eye. And it went to this other individual who's a movie star now and a stand-up comedian. You know what I'm saying? And does did he express it with vitriol? No. He's simply pointing out to y'all, don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you hear. There's a narrative in a land of smoke and mirrors. Part of the business is to deceive the public. He didn't go out and air out all the dirty laundry and all of the deceit and deception. He left it for you to like use the code he put forth. And if you
Mm-hmm.
have the time, energy, space, and freedom to explore what he's saying to be true or false.
I mean, bruh, all you gotta do is go back. The evidence is right fucking there, dude. It's there.
I mean, and I'm not gonna go as far with Kevin Hart, not to say Cat is capped with that, because it could be his perspective, his perception, or even information that was given to him from a viable source in his own circle or his own consideration. That person is viable, but
Really?
Haddish, not funny,
Listen, I'm just
not
no.
funny
Listen.
at all,
Back to
disgusting.
no. Rewind it a little bit. Rewind it a little bit.
All right,
Rewind it a little bit.
all right,
Rewind it a
cool.
little bit. I mean, listen. I'm just gonna keep it a whole buck with you, son. Think about it. Back when he was doing all of his specials, I'm talking about the Pimp Chronicles and all that.
Oh yeah, classics. Uh-oh.
When they were saying that he was going crazy, and they would say he was going crazy at that time. I ain't gonna lie, I was part of the masses like, oh, this cat then went nuts. Bother this, bother that. But at the same time, you did see a whole lot of Kev popping up now. And again, I was of lower elevation. I wasn't in my higher mind state time. I was like, dude, Kevin Hart is blowing up right now because Cat Williams done went crazy. I'm like, that's the only reason he done blew up, because he ain't that fucking funny.
Facts.
This was many years ago. You know what I'm saying? This was like around 2008, 2009. I'm like, but like this dude is not that funny to me. I mean, this was my own opinion at the time. I'm not trying to be disparaging to anybody.
I
I
know.
mean, I don't share those same views
Meaning,
now, you feel what I'm saying? But
indeed.
I'm just like, but dude, but after that, that's when you started seeing a whole lot of Kevin Hart, And then after like reading his autobiography umpteen times, because he does have a great story. I can't even front on that. The brother got a great story. I'm like, okay, now I'm seeing where everything is and stuff. Now after hearing all this other stuff too, I'm like, okay, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, now we can go back to what you were saying about TH, not Tommy Hilfiger.
My little guy. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to
Are you
talk
good?
family business offline. So TH, you said TH. We talking about Tiffany. Yeah. And listen, I don't have any ought against her personally. I don't wish her no harm. But you gotta see how this thing is manipulated. Okay, so gosh. Mainly the Laugh Factory, where you find her old clips, her journey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not a whole lot of laughs. And laughs that were given were kind of at and not with. And a lot of the jokes were self-deprecating, which Kevin Hart does self-deprecating humor. Um, at times. Not That's not his whole act. Don't get me wrong, yo. But then a lot of hers were in a way of putting her out there to be like, I'm gonna just use the words, the bed wench, the bed warmer, the house Negro. I mean, I don't want to go in on her because, like I said, I really don't have a personal odd against her. I don't have a problem with anybody making it for any reason, even if it's who they know. I don't care how they got there. The whole reason thing is do they provide anything? Do they bring anything to the table? For me, if not, I don't have to watch them. If I'm not a fan, I'm not a fan. I don't have to go and start an anti-fan page or a campaign of what do they call it? Trolling. I don't have to go trolling.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy for that because to me, if the person's not that talented, they're really not even worth talking about at all on any level. And
Right.
unfortunately, I feel like she she is on that bubble and she made it however she made it. I don't know. But it does stand to reason that the way that that whole situation with her and Ari Spears went down, that there's a
Hmm.
little bit more to the story than most of us are willing to dig into. Okay. I'm gonna be 100 with that. And Ari Spears, between him and Faison Love, I don't know who's the most hateful so-called comic that exists. Their interview personas and the amount of hate they and energy they expend talking against certain particular people is such a turnoff for me that I don't even watch their stuff. I don't even check for their stuff, movies or comedy routines. Just don't. And I'm not, once again, not trying to speak against their career or take any money out of their pocket. Not that I could, not that I'm big enough, but even if I were, I wouldn't expend that energy. Not even if someone was offering to pay me, I'm like, you can pay me to do something else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you want me to do a fair criticism on those individuals, then I will wait until they release things and then, I'll be the first one to post. You know what I mean? But it'll be fair. That's all you're going to be able to pay me for is
Right.
fair. Not a
Yeah.
hit
Because
piece,
in the
not let
same
me just
sense,
tear it down, you know. It's not
yeah.
it's not that serious to me. You know what I mean? There's enough room at the top. People are so convinced that when they're because we come from humble beginnings, all of us, most of us anyway. It's a reverse pyramid. Down here, it's narrow. It's not much room for you on the local stage. But the more the longer you wait it out or you and soldier through it, it goes like this. There's more room at the top, believe it or not. Now, when you reach a certain echelon, as we're hearing from multiple entertainers, that 20 million mark, it means something. It's almost like a some kind of achievement award. It's like, okay, you can stay where you are or fall off, or you can continue to rise. But the more you rise, the less freedom you have because it seems as though that's the more handlers are going to be surrounding you. Less people that
Yeah.
actually know you and actually mean you good will have access to you because now these people replace those people's places in order to protect the brand.
Yeah.
But did they protect Jonathan Major's brand? And isn't it kind of ironic that similarly, that's how Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish's careers took a hit from that one skit that was ill advised or bad thought process. Well, however you want to look at it, it was not thought out well. It wasn't a good judgment call.
That was terrible. But as far as Jonathan Majors, I don't know how true this is, so please do not quote me. Because I seen it on some not on I seen it on social media, of course. But it's a rumor that he might be back with Marvel.
So, one of the
I
characters that
seen it like last night, bruh.
characters that Marvel owns comes to mind while when you're saying that, right? Because I was actually getting ready to go not into that story, but into that scenario theoretically. Some people they make to break. Some people they make to break to remake again. Okay, he could be one of the remake again folks, right? Because the character that Marvel owns, excuse me, is Jean Grey, also known as the Phoenix. The Phoenix gets powerful each time the Phoenix is destroyed or brought down. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of these rumors about this degradation ritual, humiliation ritual. And it's really, if you think about it, it's a changing of a guard. It's a passing of a certain level of wealth. I'll bring to example for Exhibit A, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Will Smith disappeared out of the limelight except for some few public statements and maybe an interview or two. Maybe more than one or two interviews, but we get a few interviews maybe. Meantime, Chris Rock's tour. What was the name of that tour?
I already forgot.
I want y'all to look up the name of that tour. Look at the name of the tour and look how much money he made on that tour after being slapped on the Oscars. These things are not rumors. Some things are rumors and lies. Some things they're just not so popular truths because it seems almost what's the word I'm looking for? on an embarrassing level of stupidity to actually be the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think that's why a lot of people are uncomfortable when Cat speaks his truth.
Yeah. It goes against the chain of events that were supposed to happen.
Correct. How many arrests and zero convictions? And then you got a radio host who looked like she would be possibly related to Cat or one of us. But when he gets there, and my man Corey Holcomb is steadily telling y'all they don't want to see certain people shine. So you mean to tell me, as a black owned radio station, your thought was to call a living comedy legend, a rock star of a performer, to come to your station while he's promoting his close good friends tour, so that you could try to belittle him in the ears and the minds of the people, because it wasn't, well, we got the recording that came out later, right? Why isn't this woman in jail though? After all that actually developed afterward, here's the crazy thing: you talk about this man for going to jail essentially for what your husband and your son end up doing, threatening him with firearms in a public place. I'm sorry,
That part.
didn't what's his
That
face
part.
what's my guy's name, Big Perm, didn't he call the police on Cat for that too? See, I think these people forget the era that we came up in, good, bad, or otherwise. We had movies like Menace to Society, right? And one of the best tracks on that soundtrack, whether people caught it or not, was Brand Nubian. You have to lick them, punk motherfuckers.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah.
Mm. See, niggas talk shit and can't back it. That's why I had to fit him for the full metal jacket. Peeled his cap once, cause I know that's all it takes. Watch the nigga hit the
Watch
ground
the
and
motherfucker fall when the
just
body catches shakes. Yeah. Yeah.
So some people really are about that life, even though that's not who they are. See, you got to understand, y'all, audience. There are people who are about that life, but that's not who they are. Meaning, if push comes to shove, that's in them. But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be the one to see it come out of them, because they're not going to let you get them there. And I see Cat as one of those people. Because just as many people as you could say he's had an altercation with, it's never really gone there completely. And then after the fact, all you really end up hearing and seeing and talking about is how many people he helped, how many people he just gave ridiculous quantities of money to, that he didn't owe nothing, just to help him out.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm digress on the Cat bandwagon. I am a member, but at the same time, it's only because I see the clean glass of water versus the dirty glass of water.
Indeed.
The dirty glass of water is very much more prominent, much more well to do in the public eye. And when the lights hit just right, it almost looks like a clean glass of water. It almost does. Ain't nobody perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying him or Dave or anybody's perfect. And I'm also not trying to play up somebody else's imperfections more than another. It's an imperfect
Not at
world.
all.
It's an entertainment industry. It's a business. And it takes all types, just like any other walk of life. It takes all types. Or we'd get bored with it. I do hope that he and what's my Ali. I hope he and Ali talk and come to some kind of camaraderie. I hope they really like. I could see that being something potentially super uplifting.
Yeah.
I really do. I do see that as something that could be potentially super uplifting. But yeah, man, I appreciate your insight as always, man. Like you made some very excellent points as always, and good perspective. At the end of the day, man, I think, like Kat said, it's more than just race. It's not about just that. I mean, you come to people on that when you want to humble, and then they hit you with, "What you talking to me for, boy? You ain't nobody yet." It's like they know you're gonna be somebody. Why treat me like that now? Why not just embrace me? Why not just take me under the wing because you future competition? And they can play the race card all day. Oh, but you don't talk about the white boys. Come on, Dave. I'm not saying you on game, Dave, because I don't think it was it. I think it was the alcohol. But at the same time, come on, Dave. Your best friend Neil, your writer Neil.
That's exactly what I think it was, the alcohol. Because I mean, shoot, him and Neil, and then not just him and Neil, shoot, him and Jim Brewer, son. As tight as him and Jim Brewer is, I think
We're,
that was that alcohol, bro.
I do too. I do too. That's all I attribute that to. And I'm gonna leave that at that because I can't see it being nothing else deeper. I really can't. I really can't. Not with that.
Word, word, for
Yeah, man.
sure, for sure.
So, any shout outs? Anybody special? Well, of course, we want to shout out the Schwebel Room. Schwebel Room is the brand.
Man,
Deeper Dives is the show and the program.
for sure.
3 p.m.
Yeah,
PDD 30:30.
actually, yeah, we do. So homegirl, uh, I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with, but if you're not, you need to get on. A very dope, dope lyricist, bar for bar. I mean, she can get with the best of them.
Yeah,
Uh,
facts.
hailing out of New Orleans,
Yeah.
MC by the name of 3D Nati. Shout out to her,
Shout
killing
out.
it.
Shout
She
out.
been around for a minute, killing it. But as of recently, we follow each other on TikTok, and she hit me up. I want to say maybe last week, and said that she wants to start a food drive, which I think is very dope because I mean you don't really see uh people doing that, you know what I'm saying? So but we're trying to get some money together for that, and any kind of donations would be great. Would love to see if anybody could donate, whether be greatly appreciated. We're trying to get that going. I mean, in the next couple of weeks is when she wants to get that going. So if anybody could give any kind of donations, we've been putting the cash apps up. I mean, it's the same type of thing. Hit them cash apps, please. Anything would be greatly appreciated. I mean, and this, especially with this economy doing what it's doing right now, this inflation is a trip. We got hungry people out there, man. I mean, I know, shoot, I'm hungry too. You know what I'm saying? But we can help out those that are less fortunate. It would be greatly appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, shoot. And we're gonna try to run this, put posts up on our Instagrams and TikToks and all that too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if anybody could definitely give to that, we would definitely be greatly appreciated. I know she would too, because I mean, she said it's been on her mind for a while. It's been on my mind for a while too. And the fact that she just hit me with that, I'm like, yo, like you kind of read my mind with this. So I mean, this is, I mean, it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a really great thing actually. So I mean, if we could get some type of donations, like I said, all the proceeds are going to go towards this feed drive to help those that are less fortunate. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I got for now. Again, Schwebel Room is the fan. The Schwebel Room is the brand. You already know all the fam. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. Beat down, Eddie P, Old Man Painless, Old Man Ali. Feel me?
Indeed. Miss Kiki, Dark Strange, Big Wit
Yeah,
coming soon. Big Wit. Yeah, my God. But yeah, y'all. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude. Please
for
like,
sure.
please share, please subscribe, please join our
For
community.
sure. For
Please comment.
sure.
Please give us healthy criticism, positive
All
feedback,
all
and negative
feedback
feedback.
all feedback is welcome, but if it's negative feedback, that clap back is also coming back at you. Michael Jackson. Feel me? Just saying.
Indeed, y'all. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, for sure.